Hello, welcome to today's collective general reading. As always, remember to use your own discernment, join with intention, and allow the message to be received with an open heart. A quantum reminder, we are speaking through symbol and story here. Please do not rely on tarot readings for factual evidence. You are always encouraged to do your own research, especially when engaging with strangers on the internet. Okay, if you have not seen the previous video, I highly recommend you watch that. It's about 20 minutes, gives context for this. This is a channeled message for the 444 collective. Where do we go? I'm hearing that we will come back to this, but we're starting here and we will return here. Fitting. Okay. Yeah, too much. What message is coming in for the 444 collective? I see those. There's something more. Thank you. That bottom cut, lost lands, soul memories and gifts. You've done this before. That mirroring this, I remember. Yes. Deep cellular healing. What flew out? Your life is a canvas. The seas of Mintaka and Star Family. I know that the title, the label of starseed is contentious for many. I understand that. I'm not here to put the label to it, but a rose by any other name is the same flower, right? So there's a message here. I'm not getting that it's explicitly from like Mintaka or like any specific place, but it's the having done this before. Lollapalooza, bonanza. Like there's something about again. And if you're like me, sometimes it feels like again. And there's just this, I jokingly want to call it gentle or neutral, because it's not, a frustration with doing something another time. And that frustration doesn't really do anything for anyone, but for me, it is helpful in terms of, okay, yawning. I don't know what these readings are going to be. I'm just going to talk. I know I've done this before. I know I've been trying to do this within this life with varying levels of conscious awareness to what you could say is the mission, which I'm going to shift from the mission to a mission. It's not, I'm not here about one and onlys. That's not how I view this. I don't believe that's how it works. There can be what's given to you, and that, TH terms, that is what they give you as the one. But just because they have gifted with direction, this to you, does not mean that you are required to fulfill obligations imprinted onto you. Notice it's onto you versus within you, because you are the only one within you. You can invite friends over to play. You can play musical chairs if you would like. There's a whole bunch of ways to look at this, and I'm not here to tell you what philosophical consciousness, identity, yada yada is. I know what makes sense for me, and I know how I operate. And there's a message here to someone that is not yet in that place. And again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine. This is not for you. If you're prone to picking up pieces through a psychosis exchange, be really critical and mindful and use your own discernment on what this is. Because I know this is also like an issue that I have with doing readings and putting them onto the internet, is I don't want to light someone's fire, but a match is only a match until it is set to something. And I'm not here to light your fire. I'm just a stranger on the internet speaking to a camera. Now, back to the message. There is something here about, yes, you've done this before, and I'm seeing these four as this square building block, these 4 pieces of labradorite. You have been trying to do this within your own life here now, like this physical body manifestation. And it has not been working for one way or another. But just because it hasn't been working yet doesn't mean that what you're doing is wrong. You know, to use a colonial Western perspective of knowledge, to keep a clear-cut example, you could have a PhD's level of knowledge on something, and you walk into a room to share this with people, and everyone there speaks Spanish and you speak Mandarin. And then you finally figure out how to get a translator, but they're all environmental sciences and you're in philosophy. And then you find a way through this transdisciplinary framework to come together and exchange. But then what you are talking about is your spiritual knowing that goes against their religious beliefs. There's something about and like, I hear the frustration, I hear you. Every single time you try to bridge connection with what you know, there's always something that interrupts within the middle, and you can't build that bridge. It just keeps falling away. It keeps wilting. It keeps melting. This, I remember, I've done this before. Lost Lands. I'm getting here with your life as a canvas matched with this deep cellular healing, is that, and you won't know if you achieve what you achieve until your dying breath. You know what I mean? Like, it's up until then, everything is fair game. And where you are now, the possibility that you have within this life cycle, and not what I'm next saying is not about lives and living. This is about waves and motions of energy, etc., and portals, gateways. There's something that is going to be ending, I believe, in March. Like, I don't know if there's going to be an opening continuing into April. There's something, well, April's the 4th month, now that you mention it. So I think something is launching or birthing or being awoken to the public in April. And if you are to be a part of that wave of motion, you will know by the end of March. So it may be into Virgo season. Why am I yawning? Why am I yawning? Sometimes as I'm recording these videos, I feel that they're all over the place. And then when I watch them back later, I'm like, no, that kind of made sense. I should have just kept going with it. So I'm just going to keep going with it. everything that you've done before that has caused you frustration and annoyance and burnout even still sits within you. And it's about taking the time, yawning, I understand, taking the time back to rest, knowing that all of that is going to be recalibrated within the next few weeks. As out of the corner of my eye, it's that book for the fairy oracle deck. And explicitly, the fairies caught my eye. 9 of stones, 6 of branches, the sun. Oh yeah, because in the last reading I said I'm wearing my Soleil shirt. So it's almost there. The city is almost built. And in this deck, in the 10 of stones, 10 of pentacles, the entire town is gone. And it's however many hundreds to thousands of years later. For me, this 6 of branches, 6 of wands is about being resourceful with your resources. Sustaining. And the sun, and these two walking here, I'm seeing that they're waving a red flag. And not as in a white flag of surrender, but there's a warning. I understand this yawning. I picked up more candles the other day. And as I'm sitting here and I'm just yawning and yawning and yawning, I'm like, oh, because what's coming is using up a lot more energy. A lot more energy. And so what we need to be doing is preparing, you could call it offerings if you want to. Your how you are showing up to participate in this next chapter is also predetermined by the energy that you have the capacity to show up with. Oh, slippery, slippery. King of Spires, 2 of branches. So King of Swords, 2 of wands. Oh yeah, this red flag. This same red flag. So the King of Spires, excuse me. And in this deck, I see it as he has gotten to the very top of the mountain. He has achieved what it is he has set out on. And 2 of branches, I often see this here as divine masculine. So there's something that you're being called to do. Getting Queen of Wands energy. It could be called to create. 5 of stones, Page of tides. So right now, where you are is this, it feels like destruction of what you've built so far, but it's actually the beginning of this new level of understanding of how to let go, how to release, how to not hold on, how to not hoard your emotions. You need to learn how to let things go, because your star family, as that just tucked up this piece of labradorite that I'm seeing as what is now, I use the word pure, but I don't mean pure as in sainthood. I just mean cleansed, clear, rebirth, new, these beings, right? All of these souls sent out. Yes, you can see it as awakening, but I'm hearing it, or I'm not hearing the vibe I'm getting, you could say. Those who you are meant to align with and match up with now for this next step are at a certain frequency. And if you keep carrying around, I'll call it that emotional baggage, if you're not engaging with this deep cellular healing, right? I saw a message pop up the other day, actually, from Steph from House of Scry that was about Arcturus, so perhaps that's part of this wave. It's about releasing the emotional fatigue and not putting it down and then resenting having to come back to it later. Releasing it, letting it go. You don't carry that around anymore. There's something that you need to burn off. And it may hurt to feel like you have to leave parts of you behind. I'm just going to tuck that cord because fire safety, folks. But even that, it's you're not doing something because you're scared of it being something else. You are doing something because you know it is time. Okay? It is time for this light to awaken within you. It's already there, but again, it's putting the match to it. Also, jasmine might be something that is clicking with you right now, as I'll use this jasmine and rose spray. And so seeing the one black drop of wax on this red candle, I'm seeing that as yin yang, as the one drop in the full, and how that is so the circle of life, yes, the circle of everything, but again, going back to sunrise and sunset. And a collage that I have pinned on the wall over there, it's purple, but it just stood out to me. So there's something about put a pin in that, put a purple pin in that, which to me speaks to psychism. Oh, what drop is on this card? And like, maybe that's the, oh yeah, because I had it leaned down here. Okay. And for that, me, I'm someone who's naturally like, did I ruin something? And you can say that comes from being raised by a type A, etc., yada, yada, yada. But very much things needing to be a certain way. And so for a liquid of some kind to drop on this card, your life is a canvas, artist, manifestation, create accountability. There is something here about play. Don't be afraid about getting something wrong, because it is not about getting it right. It is about remembering. And you're not going to remember if you're afraid to try. And don't put yourself in a hole because you're worried that it has not worked before. That's why you're trying. That's why you're practicing. And if it happens in this life, it happens in this life. And if it doesn't happen in this life, it doesn't. Maybe it starts in this life and it's something that's going to have to take multiple lifetimes. Maybe you are someone that is sparking change, and that change, that I'll call revolution, is something that you can impregnate our society with. Like, and not to get too physical into like masculine and feminine and yada yada yada, but it's something about, this is something that you are gifting into the world, and then it has its own life. And it's not, yes, creative accountability. It's not just you as an individual is responsible for it. It is we all share the collective responsibility for change. And that change is happening now. Okay. This is part 2. I think there's another one that I can be more detailed with, but I will call this as the message, as I did get some more on this card, and it does have a little bump, and there's something about watering the sun. Okay. So if this message resonated with you, if you found it interesting, you can like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to hear from me more often. Also, in the description, you'll find a link to my Substack, which hosts the 444 Collective, a virtual ecosystem operating as a place to gather and explore together. Oh, Seven of Swords energy. Stay tuned.